The Young and the Restless Recap, June 23, 2025. Kane tries to make a trade with Victor. On the Monday, June 23rd episode of The Young and the Restless, Kane reflects on how Colin's death affected him. Guests speculate about how Kane got his wealth, and Lily vows to get answers. In Nice, Kane's guests demanded to know why Kane had asked everyone to be there. Kane claimed that he'd invited them for a wonderful visit to the Riviera to meet the man calling himself Aristotle Dumas. Kane admitted that the past year had been exhausting, and he decided to retire Dumas and return to Genoa City as Kane Ashby. Lily commanded that Kane end the secrets and games and tell them what it was all about. Kane explained that many of them had inspired him over the years, and the party was a way of thanking them. Damien wondered why Kane hadn't put his real name on the invitations and thrown the event closer to home. Kane acknowledged that he'd let people down, and he'd been afraid no one would show up. Kane looked forward to speaking with each of his guests one-on-one while he made their time there unforgettable. Lily ran out, with Divin and Damien following her. Victor insisted on speaking with Kane immediately. After Victor and Kane stepped away from the party, Phyllis understood why Lily had met with Kane first, but she asked why Amanda hadn't simply told her. Amanda asserted that she hadn't been about to defy her boss, but Phyllis countered that Amanda's boss was Kane and not a billionaire businessman. Amanda clucked that Phyllis hadn't been paying attention, and Phyllis realized Amanda respected Kane. Phyllis remained determined to get in on the ground floor of Kane's master plan. Phyllis told Nick that she was still on a mission, especially since she knew the guy behind Dumas. Nick couldn't remember Phyllis and Kane being tight. Phyllis chirped that she and Kane weren't enemies, and she respected someone who wanted to reinvent themselves. Phyllis figured that Kane was the same guy with a different name and net worth. Nick warned that something had changed, but the question was how much. Audra noted that Kane was easy on the eyes and nothing like Kyle had predicted. Kyle recalled that Kane had worked for Jabot but hadn't been a mogul then. Kyle doubted that anyone but Lily had even thought about Kane. Audra begged Kyle to tell her everything he knew about Kane for the sake of their competition. Kyle guessed that she wanted to know if Kane was single, but she swore she was happy with Nate. Audra teased Kyle for getting jealous. Jack voiced surprise that Billy hadn't had any idea that Kane was Dumas. Billy muttered that there wasn't a family group chat, and he explained to Sally that Kane had used a fake name when pretending to be his long-lost half-brother. Billy groused that his mother adored Kane, so there was a sibling rivalry even though the men weren't blood, and Jill had pitted him and Kane against one another. Jack remembered a time when Billy and Kane hadn't been at odds. Sally was confused because Billy had talked to Dumas but hadn't mentioned Kane. Billy admitted that he hadn't connected the voice, and he maintained that Kane wanted Chancellor for himself. Jack thought it was just the tip of the iceberg. Diane argued that there were too many people there with no connection to Chancellor. Billy contemplated whether Kane had been trying to see how Billy felt about Jill. Billy referred to Catherine's will, in which she'd left Chancellor to Victor but wanted Kane to run it. Billy speculated that perhaps Kane thought he deserved the company. Phyllis intruded on the conversation upon hearing the mention of Chancellor. Phyllis chided Billy for failing to mention his big brother when talking about his conversations with Dumas. Phyllis imagined that Kane had been too busy counting his money to help Billy get Chancellor back. Jack considered it a good thing because Abbott Communications deserved Billy's full attention. Phyllis taunted that every day could be Billy's bring your boo to work day, and Sally pulled Billy away. Phyllis asked if Jack thought Kane was after Chancellor. Jack replied that he couldn't rule anything out.